Next up, we are going to get started and thought we'd kick off this party with a walk down memory lane. So Tamar prepared this video to remind us about last year's showcase, and then we're going to segue from there.
First year showcase!
There was no way you could fit in the cafeteria, the dining room. Yeah. The last few years it was in the dining room, but there are too many of you all. And those of you who are on the upper levels, next year I think we're going to need that space up there too, because you guys are just so fantastic.
Tamar for this beautiful, tear-jerking reminder of campus video from last year. But who knew that when President Mason said up there next year, she actually meant in the cloud for our first ever virtual showcase. So welcome everyone. I'm Nancy Yang. I'm the Associate Director for First Year Programs at Student Academic Success Programs, otherwise known as SASP. And I'm so honored to be here with you, campus leadership, faculty, staff, fellow students. We have some family and friends also in the house to celebrate our first year students, their research, and their semester-long projects. And while the showcase looks different from years past, this showcase is probably going to be the one that I never forget. The one where our first year students started their college experience in the middle of a pandemic, likely with many non-academic obligations, found ways to collaborate without ever being physically together, where our faculty showed their love and support through a screen and on phone calls, and the campus banded together to ensure that our students got what they needed to make it through the semester. So I'm so excited to celebrate with you all today. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to my co-host to introduce herself some more.
So welcome again. My name is Tamar Montuma. I am a proud member of the SASP team. I'm giving SASP a shout out. Go ahead and shout us out in the chat, SASP members. But I'm also the co-host and a co-coordinator of this event this year. And I am excited to be alongside Nancy as we take you through this virtual experience. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back to Nancy so she can move on to introing our speakers.
Thank you, Tamar. All right, we're gonna start off opening remarks by the person we have to thank for showcases in the 13th year, Kate Soar, the Senior Director, my boss of SASP. Take it away, Kate.
Okay, after that introduction, welcome everyone. I am really excited to be here this afternoon and opening the 13th annual showcase, the first of its kind in this virtual setting. And I want to start, I'm going to keep my remarks very short because there are literally hundreds of really cool presentations waiting for the visitors. I want to move us over there. But I wanted to give a shout out to the people, since Nancy introduced me as the history of the showcase. So I'm going to give a shout out to the people who contributed to this showcase in the past. So I want to give a shout out to Professor Kim Helmer. Some of them might not be here at John Jay. Professor Kim Helmer, who in the very first showcase of 4 classes, only 20 students in a room, stemming from the deep conviction and belief that freshmen, first-year students are able to do original research. Then I also want to give a shout out to someone who is here, Cornelia Preda and Nancy Yang, who were the original people behind the showcase when it was the three of us who was first-year experience, probably 10, 11 years ago, who started and scaled this up. And then to the two associate directors of first-year programs who made this program grow, Shelley Germana, who is not at John Jay anymore, and Win Ferdinand, who is still at John Jay working on undergraduate on the undergraduate curriculum. So as you can see, there's a deep running commitment at John Jay to student success, supporting student research as evidenced by the 13 years of this showcase, but also there is great flexibility and ingenuity that made this virtual showcase possible, as embodied by Nancy Yang. So I want to give a shout out to Nancy and Tamar and the amazing team at SASP. Some of them are sitting on a panel, success coaches, students, and everybody who supported this showcase. Thank you so much.
Yes, let's give it up for Kay. Let's give her some more love that she's just been getting in the chat this whole time. Yes, yes, yes. Next up, we have Student Council President Amber Rivero to give some remarks.
Hi, thank you, Nancy. And I'm just so excited. I'm Amber Rivero, Student Government President at John Jay this year, and I'm a senior. I'm so excited to be here at a part of one of my favorite traditions at John Jay, the first year showcase. I remember how vibrant and lively it was last year, which was reflected in that video. And I think it's so amazing that SAS puts this together every year for our first year students. And welcome to all of our first year students. We're so excited to have you at John Jay, and hopefully one day I'll get to meet each of you in the future in person. But until then, I'm so excited to see everything that you guys have done. I just want to tell you how important it is that SAS exists at John Jay, and how I love the SAS team and everything that they do for students, all the community they build, and everything they do to support our student success from the first year all the way to graduation. They're so vital to the John Jay community. And I also just want to encourage each of you to just really embrace this opportunity that you've been given to present your research and embark on research even in your first year of college. I wish I would have had that opportunity, but when I came to John Jay as a transfer student, I was introduced to the world of research, and I haven't stopped since. It's so powerful. And I want to encourage each of you to explore the ways that your research might be able to be used in the virtual world of social activism, even right now while we're in a pandemic. You can still affect change, and you can use this research in really amazing ways to change your community and change the world around you. And it's such an honor to be here, and I'm so glad that we have so many students presenting today. Thank you so much.
Let's give it up for Amber one more time. Let's show her some more love in the chat. Yes. All right, next up, our college president, President Mason.
And to make sure I unmuted. Hello, everybody. Congratulations. I look forward to the student showcase every year. And in case you can't see my button, this is from the 11th year, and we'll figure out how to get a 13th year to everybody. Good afternoon, and welcome to our 13th annual first year student showcase. And for once, I may actually get to see all of the exhibits. That was the hard part with the setup before, was making it through all the wonderful exhibits. So I'm so excited to see everyone here and to support our first year scholars and researchers, because that's what you are now. This important research you've done with your semester-long projects has really launched you as researchers. In this first ever virtual showcase, which I shouldn't have been surprised that Nancy and Tamar and all these folks would pull this off, but it's amazing. And we're here to celebrate the work of 500 first year students who developed 125 projects with the support of 23 professors. Let's give it up for the professors, everybody. And they are so proud of you. I know that they were always pulling over to make sure that we saw their students' exhibits. So if you're here, all of our first year student presenters, please shout out in the chat so that we can see you. And as you've heard, many of us look forward to this first year showcase. because it's so important to see the sea of research poster boards cascading over the floors of the new building. And I'm glad that, as Nancy said, you're up in the clouds now. That's how many of you there are. So this year, while we can't be together on campus, I'm so excited to actually be able to see everybody's new work and in this innovative virtual format that allows us to really study your work and to see it and to see your remarkable growth and insight and collaborative spirit. And this is just the beginning of your journey. As you heard President Rivero say, she missed the opportunity to be a freshman here, but she is a lifelong researcher as a result of the experience here at John Jay, and that's what you all are. So today you've reached an important milestone in your academic career. You've not only spent time researching a justice-focused issue with your fellow students and brought your creativity to life, but you're experiencing what it's like to participate in a showcase event where you can share your finished projects with a community much larger than we could have if we were all physically present. These are skills that you will use throughout your life in your future careers, graduate school, and everything you do. The skills you learn by collaborating and partnering and working together to produce this research will always benefit you. Thank you for being part of this incredible display of hard work, collaboration, and research. Today's first year showcase wouldn't be possible, as I mentioned, without the 23 professors. I can't name all of you, but you're here, and congratulations and thank you. The numerous peer success coaches who are here, shout out, give them a shout out in the chat. Staff at SASP, as we've already heard, who've been remarkable, not just in figuring out how to keep this tradition going in a virtual world, but they, in case you can't tell, are so excited about the work you do. They love our young presenters and the research and creation process that you go through. As Nancy mentioned, they've been emailing with you all late at night, along with your professors and your peer success coaches. They've made suggestions that have led to breakthrough moments that we will see when we go to the actual showcase to look at your work. And it's been wonderful to see how everybody has stepped up to mentor you all in this new world to make sure that the showcase happened on schedule. Thank you, everybody who helped our students produce this wonderful work. Thank you for your dedication and your commitment to our talented scholars, because that's what you are, all of you, scholars. So let's hear it for our faculty, staff, students, family, and friends who helped guide our first year students through your very first, notice I said first, research project here at John Jay. We expect to see many more from you throughout your career, and I can't wait to see what else you do throughout your career here at John Jay. During your journey here at John Jay, please continue to take advantage of every single opportunity that we make available to you. Build on the connections and relationships that you've formed throughout this process. And congratulations to everyone for a remarkable first year student showcase. And I know that they're going to take us to the website and show us how to do that later. But now I'm excited about our student presenters who will be following me. And Dean Byrne, thank you for how you support our students in so many different ways. I love all of you guys, and I'm excited to see the work. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, President Mason. And before we get to our brilliant student panelists, I want to welcome our Dean of Undergraduate Studies, Deandara Byrne, to say a few words.
So I'm going to be super quick because it is impossible to follow our two dynamic presidents, but I'm going to try, because one of the things that I love about the Freshman Showcase is that it represents so much of my history at John Jay. I remember going into the first showcase because I was partnered with Kim Helmer, because at the time our classes were linked. And I remember going in there with Professor Umbach, Professor Beckett, and listening to the presentations. And it was such a big thing to lift at the time, to lift all of those students that we thought into 620 or 630 in Heron Hall. And so to see 13 years later, what a big lift can really evolve into something that represents a true cultural shift for the college, one in which the idea that a student, even in their first year, could contribute to the disciplinary conversations that are happening around justice. How powerful that is to collaborate with your faculty in terms of shaping ideas, to be an author, not just someone who consumes knowledge, who takes it in and reads or reproduces what is in someone else's work, but that you take command of something at the very beginning. And as President Rivero said in her discussion of being a lifelong researcher, you're starting that in arguably one of the greatest justice moments that, or two actually, multiple justice moments unfolding across your very first semester at the college. I have no doubt that the discussions, the workshops, the presentations, and the panelists are going to put in front of us an incredible picture of what our students are engaged with. And I'm excited about that because, you know, it's a foreshadowing of where our world is going to go. Do not forget that you are now knowledge producers. You are participating in a discussion that continues to impact things like policy, decision-making, how we do all of the kinds of things that you came to this college to understand. So I'm excited to learn about you, and I'm especially excited to learn about where our world is going to go in the next 10, 15, and 20 years. So thank you for your leadership and your rigorous engagement with these topics. And this is just the beginning. I can't wait to learn about you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Dean Byrne. Let's give Dean Byrne some more love in chat. Yes. So we are going to move on to bring you 4 of our brilliant first-year students who are presenting at the showcase, along with 500 other students. And they're going to share a little bit more about their projects and give you an inside look about their experiences in college this semester. So I'm going to start off with an introduction from each of you. Anisa, why don't you start us off?
Hi, everyone. My name is Anisa Montalbo, and I'm part of the STEM program or cohort here in John Jay. I'm actually a major in computer science and information security, and I'm hoping to have a minor in environmental justice. I personally believe in helping others any chance you get, and I also believe in doing so by using what you're good at. So as a result, I plan to find an occupation in the cyber forensics part of criminal justice, and while keeping a side career in my volunteer work. Overall, I'm just really happy to be here in front of all you guys today. I'm really excited to see all your amazing projects and all your amazing work. And overall, thank you for having me here today.
Yes, let's give it up for Anisa. Yes, yes, yes. You see all that love in chat for you, Anisa. All right, next up, let's go to Kevin to introduce himself.
Hi everybody, my name is Kevin Cabrera and I will be majoring in forensic psychology. And one of my big goals is to one day bring to the importance of people's mental health, because I feel like it isn't highlighted enough in society. So I want to make an impact on that in every day and bring to the attention of everybody to that.
Yes, Kevin, thank you. Give it up for Kevin. All right, up next, let's go to Angelique.
Hi, everyone. My name is Angelique Bihari, and I'm a part of Apple Core, a program here at John Jay. And the major that I'm pursuing is international criminal justice. I hope to have a minor in English and/or history. After college, I plan to attend law school with the goal of becoming a criminal defense attorney.
Thank you so much, Angelique. Let's give it up for Angelique. Yes. And let's head over to Priscilla next.
Hi, everyone. My name is Priscilla Sintim-Danso. I am in Apple Core, and my major is financial forensics and fraud examination. I wish to be able to contribute and impact communities around me by setting an example to young minorities. I'm happy to be here today.
Yes, Priscilla. Let's give it up for Priscilla. We're so happy to have all four of you here. And I'm going to hand it over to Tamar to ask the next question.
Yes, just like Nancy said, we're so happy to have you all. I don't know if you notice how fast the chat is going. Everyone is cheering you all on. So we're going to start off. Just tell us briefly about your showcase project. And I'm just going to start with Angelique. Why don't you kick us off?
No problem. I don't mind. After attending an event here at John Jay called Justice Talk to Justice Walk, I think everyone is aware, I was presented the opportunity to become a part of a research team and work alongside Professor Umbach and Professor West. My group member and I did preliminary research about cops who escaped being investigated and punished by the NYPD, but are still employed in law enforcement jobs. Because the accused cops flee from the jobs, leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars in benefits on the table. It does suggest that, you know, they're fleeing from the allegation, but it's not really proven yet. So that's basically what the project was based on.
Amazing. Clap it up in the chat for Angelique. Thank you, Angelique. I'm going to go next to Anisa.
Hello. I was very fortunate to be part of Professor Yang's 141 class, first year seminar class. In that class, we addressed how memory's role in justice and how faulty it actually may be. My group and I actually created a text-based choose your own adventure game, where in this game, you embody a 10-year-old character that tests their memory after a traumatic event occurs in their life. The game has 4 endings based on how strong your already faltering memory is. And your choices really make the ending. And overall, we used various forms of research to get to this ending point. I really hope you guys will enjoy this game. It's entitled Scared, and look for it. That was what me and my group have done.
Thank you, Anisa. That sounds super duper cool. And then I'm going to go over to Kevin.
So I was part of Professor Cassie's late 138 first year seminar class, and we were able to explore the theme of justice through Charles Dickens' famous novels Great Expectation. And we were given the chance to look at one of the episodes from South Park that takes like a funny approach on it. And we explored how society not always gives an equal distributive justice to everybody, and everybody gets what they deserve based on the ideas that society creates. That's
Awesome. Thank you so much. That sounds cool as well. South Park theme. That's very interesting. And last but not least, Priscilla.
My first Apple Core academic experience was an anthropology course that took place during the summer. My group members and I decided to do research that focused on the perceptions of gentrification on low-income neighborhoods. So we gathered information and data by conducting surveys and interviews with personal networks and organizations. And our presentation later on will show the findings.
Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing those findings as well. I'm going to switch it right back over to Nancy to take us down the next question.
Yes, moving along. You all learned, I'm sure, a ton this semester. So wanting you all to share a little bit about the kinds of skills you gained from working on your showcase project. And we're going to start with Kevin.
So thanks to my professor, I was able to learn how to read between the lines, how like different structures, grammars, everything that somebody who writes a piece of writing like uses to uncover how different themes that might not be clear, and which helped me carry on to my other classes for me to be able to create better conclusions, better analysis of the work that we get.
Super fascinating. Thank you, Kevin. Priscilla, you're up next.
I learned how to manage my time. I had other schoolwork for other classes, but I was able to learn how to balance my time and do well in all of my classes. And I also learned how to voice out any confusions or questions that I had. Before coming into college, I was kind of shy about asking, but I learned how to voice out any problems or concerns that I may have.
Thank you so much, Priscilla. Angelique?
Hi, okay. While participating in my group project, I learned a lot about myself. Throughout the project, there were a lot of obstacles. That's a given when doing a research project that I learned. But with hard work and perseverance, I acquired the ability to be patient and accept that things can go wrong in real life. Everything isn't set in stone. So now, speaking with practical workplace skills, I became proficient in database research, basic statistical analysis, Excel, and I have trouble saying this word, but investigating methodology, but heavy on the Excel. That was a great learning experience. I'm glad I acquired that skill.
Thank you, Angelique. Anisa.
As a computer science major, first of all, it was just really empowering to see I could make a game out of pressure with my team. But that's not the main thing. The main thing was that I really learned the value of making schoolwork something that you actually love and that you're passionate about. If you just create work because you have to, it ends up not being something you want to do. And I think we all have had that experience to the point of oh, I have to get this assignment done. Oh, I have to get this done. But if you really look at an assignment and you research it and you actually engage yourself into it, it comes alive. It comes something else to you. And you become part of this amazing adventure that you go in and end up coming out with something you didn't expect to get when you came in. So really, honestly, the biggest thing I learned was to engage yourself and to really learn that what you're doing is something to be proud of and passionate about. And that's my biggest takeaway.
Thank you so much, Anisa. We are so, we need to save this chat and send it to you all because the love and support you're getting, everyone is so proud of the four of you and also everyone who participated. I'm going to throw it back to Tamar to ask the next question.
Thank you so much. Well, I just want to say that you guys the answers you're giving, they're just so amazing and so great. So the next question is, a primary goal of the first year showcase is to give students a preview of what it's like to do research. What did you learn about conducting research this semester? And I'm gonna kick it off with Kevin. Why don't you start us off?
So what I learned about research was that sometimes at the start, it might be it looks like a lot, or you feel it might be not something that you want to research, but once you find one point, it leads to another and you get really entangled into it and you just want to keep learning more and more. So I feel like that's a good strategy that I take forward to go into all my other classes.
Great. Anisa?
I learned that it's actually very possible to do, even when you seem stressed or strenuous. So the foundation of the game that we created was very research based. And you really, really quickly found out, though, that we have to be organized, extremely so. And it's incredibly important to do so. You have to keep your sites together. You have to make sure you credit everyone correctly. And just focusing on learning how to be organized is so important. And it can be extremely tedious. I'm sure everyone can feel and agree with me when I say that. But in the end, it's so worth it to see the work of art you've created.
Organized. That was such a great tip that she just dropped some keys right there, right? Next, Priscilla.
I learned that not everything is going to go as planned and that your findings may not be what you expected them to be, but it's a great learning experience. For example, some of our findings didn't support our hypothesis, and we were first we were bummed about it, but we still learned a lot about how gentrification affects neighborhoods.
Thank you. And then last but not least, Angelique.
I learned that research isn't perfect. Things can go wrong in data analysis because just like you and I, people are human. Humans make mistakes. So with patience and careful research, things will be much easier in the research process. But most importantly, it's great to embrace and just enjoy the new learning experience because research, to everyone, whether they're experienced or not, it's always new. You're learning new information. So it requires some patience. So that's what I learned about conducting research.
Awesome. Patience, organization, not being sure what your results will be. Some great keys and tips shared. Nancy? could take it off.
Thank you. All right, next question. So one of the goals of the first year seminar and other initiatives in first year programs is also to give students the tools they need to work effectively in collaborative work now and in the future. What did you all learn about working in a group this semester? Let's start with Priscilla.
I learned that not everyone in your group is going to have the same ideas. Like everybody's going to share their own perspectives, have their own points of views, but we can all learn from each other.
Wonderful, wonderful, Priscilla. Up next, Kevin.
Working in a group allowed me to reflect on myself to see where I was contributing the most and where I wasn't contributing as much so I could learn where the areas I may improve in.
Yes, wonderful, because it's all a learning process. Anisa.
I learned that group work is interesting for sure. In the beginning, it's definitely rocky. I think that goes for anyone. But we really quickly had to learn and did learn that each one of us was human and we all had very different strengths and very different weaknesses. And we needed to use all of those to create a successful project in the end. We need to be aware of each other and the fact that during what's happening right now, we all need to be accepting of the lifestyles that everyone's living and the time that people have, and we need to understand each other to be able to work successfully together. I also learned that talking to each other is definitely key. Communication is the world when it comes to group projects. Without it, groups will just fall apart. And finally, I really learned that don't be afraid to speak up. Your idea can be awesome. It could be something that you don't use, but it's not the worst thing that could happen is you don't use that project or that idea. It's still something you want to speak up to your group. You want to hear your ideas and just let them out there. They could be something amazing that ends up your whole project. So yeah, that's the gist of that.
Couldn't have said it better. Thank you, Anisa. Angelique?
While working in a group, I learned that every group member is different. They all have different capacities, but that's okay because not everyone is the same. Because humans are meant to function in their own unique way. So working in groups also taught me that you can form new relationships, whether that be teacher-student relationships or new friendships. Working in my research groups, because I was in both, I was in two, anthropology and with Mr. Umbach, I formed so many great friendships and it was amazing.
Thank you so much, Angelique. We're going to throw it back to Tamar for our final question.
Yes, last but not least, who were your biggest supporters in helping you complete this project? So I'm going to start it off with Angelique. We're going to start with you.
Okay, great. My biggest supporters had to be Professor Umbach and Professor West. Shout out to them. They had a lot of patience and empathy with my group member and I. Working with Professor Umbach and Professor West, it allowed me to have a new student-teacher relationship, like I mentioned before, that will last for a long time. I didn't realize that professors could also end up being your mentors, and that really leaves an impact on who you are as an individual. I definitely look forward to working with these amazing professors in the future and in the upcoming semester. Shout out to Professor Umbach. He's going to be my professor for my history class as well. I'd also love to thank my amazing group member, Aviana. Shout out to you, girl. I really couldn't have done this without you because it was just us at the end of it. And lastly, I'd love to thank my parents because without them, I would probably go insane.
I love it. Yes, professors as mentors. Next up, I'm going to ask Kevin to answer.
One of my biggest supporters was my professor, Helen Capstein, who always pushes us to go beyond our comfort zone and be the best student we can. And also my peer success coach, Fiona, who was an amazing person since the first day. And she's helped us through all the challenges that we faced. So I'm really thankful for them too.
Thank you. Anisa?
I have to say I'm a little hurt that I have to share Fiona, but I want to give a little shout out to both Fiona and Professor Yang, who are both here right now. I see her in the chat a few times, and Professor Yang up here in front of you, because they checked in with each one of us, like all our groups, and they provided amazing feedback every single time. They provided support through what's happening in the world right now. They talked to us, they played with us, they really gave us the support that we needed as a bunch of groups, and especially in mine at least. And it really meant the world to me. And honestly, I'd shout out like all my professors if I could too, because the professors here at the college are so kind and they're here for you. They're not scary beings like high school sometimes mentions them to be. But they're here at every turn, especially Professor Yang and my peer success coach Fiona. They really have been the huge support that I've needed throughout this whole semester and throughout this whole project. So thank you, Miss Yang, Professor Yang, and thank you, Fiona, who I know is in the chat.
And last but not least, Priscilla.
My group members were always very supportive and we worked very well together. We always had a blast when we were working and it made this whole experience amazing. So I appreciate all of you guys. Also, Professor Rodriguez was very helpful because anytime we had questions, she would always answer them and she was very nice. And I enjoyed her class a lot.
Wonderful. So parents, professors, peer success coaches, we're shouting all of you out. So awesome. And of course, your group members as well. So we do want to dedicate maybe the next 5 minutes or so to any first year faculty who want to say a few words. We're short on time, so just a few words about their experience teaching and supporting first year students this semester. You can raise your hand by clicking on the participants button at the bottom. And you should, so we're gonna wait and see, just would love to hear from some faculty member about your experience. I do see one hand raised. Prem Sukhan. Or maybe that was by mistake. Okay. Any other first year faculty members want to just share a few words? All right, Professor Dominguez. Let me just allow to talk. All right, there you go.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I just want to really congratulate to all the students, like my students or every single student, all the students that were there. And for me, the students are my teachers, right? So we really need to listen to our students. If you are here in this showcase, it's because we as professors learn from you guys. We learn to open our hearts, to open our minds, open the ideas to you guys, because you do have ideas, you do have values, right? You do have like tons of super smart and comprehensive, different ideas. And we just like, we are just like channeling all this energy, right? I really wanted to also especially congratulate to the people in my class that decided to join for the showcase. They are researching about immigration, refugees, they are researching about stereotypes, role models. This is like really, really awesome topics, right? And we didn't decide the topics. We didn't say, hey, you know what, you are going to research about immigrants. It was our students' voices. So for me, this is the most important part. And I'm really thankful that people like Kate or Nancy are like really working in here, Tamar, right? Because you are the people who actually also push us to be here, right? To give the extra. And yeah, that's it. I'm so proud. ISP people, I'm seeing a lot of love from ISP people on the chat. Like, we love, this is an amazing community. I'm so proud of you guys. We love you all. And even if you decided to be in ISP or if you decided to go to another minor, it doesn't matter. We're going to be here for you all. Okay, we love you guys.
Thank you so much for those words. Yes, clap it up. Next, Professor Javi.
There we go. Hi, it's a very hard act to follow, Professor Jesuit Dominguez. But I just wanted to say that my students found things that I didn't know about. And I think all of you would be interested too, that And I haven't seen their faces or their names yet, but in researching about women's suffrage, one of my students found something that maybe nobody's looked at in the last 50 years, but a newspaper editorial said it's really okay that women are about to get to vote because since there's so many, prepare yourself, this isn't fun, because there's so many whites, white supremacy will be protected. That's what, that right out there in the flesh, in a newspaper, they were willing to say that. I think it was in Alabama. And one of my students got to see with their own eyes, oh my goodness, they were really talking about white supremacy as a good thing. And sort of that's the road that we're on in being fierce advocates for justice. I just want to point out, my student Miguel was in a group that looked at the pandemic of 1919 and how inequitably the price of a horrible disease fell on people due to their class. And he found a song, I think he said it was the pandemic, the influenza blues. And it says, it included a line, the cries of the rich sure sound sad, as if poor people hadn't been crying about their conditions all along. So digging in and finding things that are part of our collective legacy that we're all having to work against, I think is a real treasure that students have been doing. So it was an honor to work with all of my students. And as Professor Jazzer Dominguez said, we learn so much from our students. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Last but not least, I am going to call on Professor Beckett. I saw that you had your hand raised. If you would like to, you could just raise your hand for me one more time so I can allow you to talk. Oh, there you go. All right. All right, you should be good to go to share some words and unmute yourself.
I just want to say that starting, as Dean Byrne said, starting in 2007, I think it was, when it was just Kate running around almost begging us to be part of FYE, and to see where we've come, and also to recognize that our students now, the students have changed, and I don't want to say improved, but they've grown so fast on us. And the interesting thing about it is, this is the way that justice is going to change. You are the new voices of justice, both in research and in communication. You are the ones who are going to change everything. And as I say in class, you are the fiercest advocates that we can have. So congratulations to you all. And congratulations to SASP.
Thank you so much. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it back at Nancy. Take over.
Thank you so much. It was really great to hear from some professors. I wish we had more time to hear from more of you. But I'd also like to spend just a moment to share some thank yous of my own. There were so many people who went into making this massive show happen. Our brilliant first-year students, our first year and other participating faculty, the SASP peer success coaches that supported and guided first-year students this semester, the Office of Marketing and Communication, and the first-year programs team and SASP staff, especially Tamar Montuma, my event co-coordinator, Jennifer Insignates, Gabby Martinez, and Marie Kazadri, our event support team, and the person responsible for all the beautiful graphics and who brought the projects to life on a virtual platform, Cornelia Preda. It really takes a village, and I'm so grateful that you're a part of mine and ours. Okay, so if we could do a drum roll, we would do a drum roll, because this is the moment you've all been waiting for. The virtual showcase is now open for you to view. And thanks to Zoom, I'm able to share screen and show you exactly what to expect. Okay, here we go. Once you land on the first-year student showcase page, you have two options for how you want to explore student projects. If you're like President Mason and wants to just browse through all of the student work, she would go and click on these exhibit buttons one at a time to just do some exploration. So imagine she would go to Apple Core first. Ta-da, our virtual presentations all in these beautiful Padlets. The other way that you can explore student work, if you know exactly who you want to see. So imagine you want to go and play on Anisa's text-based game. If you click on the student project directory, you have a list of every group, every student, every section that is participating in the showcase. And you'd find her in the STEM section, and you can click.
Who did this? This is amazing. This is amazing. Who organized? SASP, you are amazing. I love this. I can't wait. I can't wait. Cornelia, woo! This is amazing. Students, do you see how much you are loved? Do you see the love poured into this webpage? Look at this. Sorry to interrupt, Nancy.
Well, now that I know that we can
excited.
speak up, how long is it going to be live? How long? Because I want to go through this. How long?
Yeah, this will be live forever, but the student presenters will be closely monitoring the projects for this week. So if you want some feedback and response from them, get your comments and questions in by Friday. Okay, and let me show you one last thing. This is how you can interact with the presentation. So imagine I want to go to early starts exhibit, and I see this project here. I want to give it some love, so I'm going to click on the heart there, and then I'm going to go to this comment box to say this is awesome, but also can add my question here. How did you come up with this topic? And the presenters now will go back into chat to answer those questions. So this is how we interact with each other in a totally virtual space where we can highlight hundreds of students' work and for all of you to enjoy. So this is why Padlet sign up was so incredibly important. Okay, so
you know, when we go back into the physical world, we're still going to have this because
it'll never look the same.
Seeing this and getting the opportunity to really take things in, because students, what you're missing is the frenzy and a lot of disappointed faculty and staff who can't get around to everyone. So this really gives us the opportunity to love on your work for time immemorial. So thank you so much for this. Oh my God.
One more thing, so that we can continue to love on each other. We included a give a shout out to your supporters button. Click on this and you get to share some love with everyone that helped make the showcase happen. So for students, this can be your faculty, it can be your peer success coach, your family. Let's fill this page up with love and preserve it forever for the showcase. Yeah. All right. So now I'm going to throw it back last time to Tamar so she can talk to our current John Jay students about how you can enter a raffle to make this even more exciting.
Yes, but before I do that, you know, Nancy went through her whole list of thank yous and appreciations, and she did not shout herself out. So I need everyone in the chat right now to just give Nancy a huge shout out for the many nights and weekends and just the amount of time that she spent and dedicated to coordinating this amazing experience, this amazing event. We love you, Nancy. Thank you for leading us through this, for prepping the students. You taught, you coordinated so many events this semester, and look at this amazing outcome of this showcase. So we thank you and we love you for assisting all of us along the way. All right, now students, before we actually end this and you guys can go off and explore this virtual experience of a showcase, we do have some prizes for presenters, as well as those who enter the scavenger hunt raffle. So there are 3 categories here. So first off, the most engaging solo project, and it's going to go to the solo project that gets the most engagement through likes and questions or comments, and your prize is going to be an individual future me digital portrait. And when we say future me, we mean if you want to be an attorney, our artist Antonio Clark Art is going to draw you see those pictures, a little preview of the caricatures, in that role of being an attorney. Or say you want to be a judge, he'll draw you with a gavel, right? And so also, same thing goes for the most engaging group project. You have to receive the most likes, questions, comments. You'll get that same prize. And last but not least, the Showcase Scavenger Hunt raffle, 3 random students, current John Jay students, will be selected if you complete that scavenger hunt, and your prize will be a $30 e-gift card. All right, so exciting things. I'm gonna hand it right back to Nancy to close us out, and you guys can go ahead and move forward in exploring.
Thank you, Tamar. Oh, it's been so incredible. I mean, the energy is incredible even when we're not in the same room together, right? I'm so grateful and thankful that we've come to the end of the semester. We've built this incredible celebration for students. Now I'm going to let you go ahead and enjoy the showcase. Here is the link in chat. Some of us will stay in this Zoom meeting in case you're lost or need to chat a little bit, but go on, explore, give people some love, and we'll see you soon.